A wealthy businesswoman gets pulled over for speeding, but instead of admitting fault, she storms into Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom with an attitude that could fill the entire room. From the moment she steps in, she mocks the process, refuses to pay, and even tries to walk out mid-hearing. But what happens next? It's a powerful reminder that money can't buy respect. And that arrogance, no matter how rich you are, always has consequences. This is the story of Patricia Whitmore, a woman whose sense of entitlement collided head-on with real authority. Inside a courtroom where character counts far more than cash. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from, because this story of accountability and respect hits home everywhere, especially in a world where too many people believe the rules don't apply to them. It's Wednesday morning, 10:00 a.m. at the Providence Municipal Court. Judge Frank Caprio is about to begin what seems like another routine speeding case, until his bailiff leans over and whispers a warning. Your Honor, this defendant has been giving the court staff a hard time. Her name, Patricia Whitmore, age 48. Her offense, driving 25 miles over the limit in a residential zone. The officer's notes read, defendant was argumentative, claimed she was too important to be stopped, refused to sign citation initially. When Patricia walks in, she's dressed in high-end designer clothes, clutching a luxury handbag, scrolling on her phone, and radiating the kind of energy that screams, "This court is beneath me." Judge Caprio begins with his usual professionalism. Miss Whitmore, you're here regarding a speeding citation. Please step forward. Patricia barely looks up from her phone as she slowly walks toward the bench, thumb still tapping across the screen. Miss Whitmore, the judge says firmly, I need your full attention. Please put your phone away. Patricia lets out a sigh, finally glancing up with visible irritation. I'm handling important business. Can we hurry this up? I actually have real work to do today. A quiet tension spreads through the courtroom, the kind that makes every spectator sit a little straighter. Judge Caprio's tone remains calm but serious. Miss Whitmore, this court is important. You will give it your full attention. You were cited for driving 55 in a 30-mile-per-hour zone. How do you plead? Patricia rolls her eyes. This whole thing is ridiculous. That road's limit is way too low. I drive it every day, and no one's ever had a problem. The judge leans back slightly, unmoved. That's not what I asked. How do you plead to the charge? Fine, whatever, she snaps. I was speeding. Can I just pay the fine and get out of here? I don't have time for this. Judge Caprio studies the report in front of him while Patricia shifts impatiently, her phone lighting up again. Miss Whitmore, he says evenly, 25 miles over the limit in a residential area is serious. There are children, and Patricia cuts him off mid-sentence. Oh please, I know that neighborhood. Parents should teach their kids not to play near the street. I shouldn't have to crawl at 30 just because people don't watch their kids properly. A murmur ripples through the courtroom, the sound of disbelief at her cold indifference. Judge Caprio looks directly at her. The speed limit exists to protect everyone in that community, not just children. Your attitude toward this citation is concerning. Patricia crosses her arms. My attitude? My attitude is that I'm a successful businesswoman being lectured by a small-town judge about driving on a road I've used for years. This is a waste of my time and taxpayers' money. The judge slowly stands, his patience wearing thin, but his composure unshaken. Miss Whitmore, I'm going to remind you that you're in a courtroom, and you will show respect for this process. She smirks. Respect for what? For you rubber-stamping tickets just to make money for the city? Please, I'll pay your fine and be done with it. Judge Caprio takes a deep breath. Miss Whitmore, your fine for this violation is $350, plus court costs. Patricia laughs, shaking her head. That's it? I spend more than that on lunch. Just charge my card so I can go. The judge's eyes harden. This isn't a restaurant, Miss Whitmore. This is a court of law, and you're treating it like an inconvenience instead of a serious matter. Because it is an inconvenience. She fires back. You're acting like I'm some criminal for driving a little fast on an empty road. The tension grows heavier as her entitlement fills the room. Judge Caprio flips through her driving record, his voice steady but firm. Miss Whitmore, I see. You've had 3 prior speeding tickets in the last 2 years. Patricia shrugs with a smirk. So what? I paid them all. That's how this works, right? You give tickets, I pay, and we move on. The judge looks up from the file. No, Miss Whitmore, that's not how this works. Each violation represents dangerous driving that could endanger others. Patricia rolls her eyes dramatically. Oh, please. I'm an excellent driver. 30 years behind the wheel. No accidents. Your clean accident record is fortunate. The judge replies calmly. But it doesn't excuse repeated speeding. Patricia leans forward slightly, her tone dripping with condescension. Look, Judge. She stretches the word like an insult. I'm a busy woman. I run 3 companies. I employ over 200 people. I pay more in taxes than anyone here will probably make in a lifetime. Gasps echo through the courtroom, a mix of disbelief and disgust. Judge Caprio's face remains composed, but his eyes sharpen. Miss Whitmore, your financial status has no bearing on your obligation to follow the law. Really? She snaps back. Because from where I'm standing, this whole setup looks like a cash grab from people who actually contribute to society. The judge's voice hardens, slow, deliberate, controlled. Miss Whitmore, I'll ask you one more time to show respect for this court. Patricia laughs mockingly. And if I don't, what are you going to do? Find me more money? I don't care about. You can't intimidate me. I'm not some scared kid who needs to bow down to you. The entire courtroom goes silent. Every head turns toward her, the tension thick enough to feel. Judge Caprio's words slice through the quiet. Miss Whitmore, your behavior here is just as dangerous as your driving. Both show a disregard for rules and the safety of others. Patricia grabs her phone again, scrolling without care. Are we done here? Because I have important meetings to get to. Judge Caprio raises his hand slightly. Put that phone down. We are not done. Patricia smirks and takes a step toward the exit. Actually, I think we are. Just send me the bill. My assistant will handle it. The bailiff shifts uneasily. The audience stares, waiting for the judge's response. Miss Whitmore, Judge Caprio says, his voice rising for the first time, if you take one more step toward that door without my permission, you will be held in contempt of court. Patricia turns, her smirk fading slightly. Contempt? For what? Not being impressed by your little kingdom? The judge doesn't flinch. For showing repeated disrespect to this court. For attempting to walk out in the middle of a hearing. And for displaying the same reckless attitude that makes you a danger on the road. Patricia scoffs. A danger? Please. I'm a danger because I won't grovel to a judge in a tiny courtroom? That's when Judge Caprio's tone shifts, powerful, commanding, unshakable. You're a danger because you think the rules don't apply to you. You're a danger because you believe your wealth excuses your behavior. And you're a danger because you've forgotten that other people's safety matters just as much as your time. The courtroom is dead silent. Even Patricia seems momentarily stunned. This is ridiculous, she mutters. Turning again toward the door. Bailiff, Judge Caprio says calmly, ensure Miss Whitmore remains in this courtroom. The bailiff steps forward. For the first time, Patricia's confidence falters. You can't keep me here, she protests. Yes, Miss Whitmore. Caprio replies evenly. Absolutely can. This is my courtroom, and you will stay until this hearing is concluded. Now, sit down. Patricia hesitates, defiance flickering in her eyes, but finally lowers herself back into place. Her phone now silent on the table. The courtroom is still. The only sound is the faint rustle of papers as Judge Caprio calmly reviews the file once more. Miss Whitmore, he begins. You were cited for excessive speeding in a residential zone. This is your 4th violation in just 2 years. You've shown no remorse, no understanding of why this matters, and you've repeatedly disrespected this court. Patricia folds her arms. I don't have to stand here and be lectured by, yes. Miss Whitmore, the judge cuts in sharply. You do. That's exactly what's happening right now. The room is silent, all eyes locked on her as Judge Caprio continues, calm, but firm as iron. Your original fine was $350. But given your conduct in this courtroom today, I'm increasing that to the maximum $500 plus court costs. Patricia's confidence falters. You can't do that. I can, Caprio replies without hesitation, and I just did. Additionally, you are ordered to attend a driver safety course within 30 days. Her jaw tightens. A driver safety course? I've been driving for decades. And yet, Caprio says evenly, you've collected 4 speeding tickets in 2 years. That tells me you haven't learned anything. You will complete the course and submit proof to this court. Patricia scoffs in disbelief. This is outrageous. I'll appeal this. That's your right, the judge says calmly. I encourage you to explain to an appellate court how you treated this hearing today and see if they're sympathetic. Her face starts to show something new, not defiance, but doubt. Judge Caprio's tone deepens. Furthermore, due to your repeated interruptions, your attempt to leave, and your blatant disrespect for this court, I'm adding a contempt of court charge that's an additional $200. Patricia's voice rises again. For what? For not kissing your ring? No, Caprio replies firmly. For repeatedly disrespecting this court, for ignoring its authority, and for acting as though the law doesn't apply to you. That brings your total fine to $700, plus court costs, $850 in total, and mandatory traffic school. Her posture stiffens as the realization sinks in. What could have been a small fine has now turned into a costly lesson. You're punishing me for being successful, she mutters. No, Ms. Whitmore, the judge says with absolute clarity. I'm holding you accountable for breaking the law and for your contempt toward this courtroom. Your wealth has nothing to do with your responsibility as a citizen. I want to speak to your supervisor, Patricia demands. I don't have one, Caprio replies calmly. I'm the chief judge of this municipal court. But again, you're free to appeal. For the first time, Patricia has no comeback. The arrogance that filled the room minutes ago has evaporated, replaced by a quiet, uneasy stillness. Judge Caprio leans forward slightly. Miss Whitmore, I want you to understand something. This court sees people from all walks of life. Some can barely afford their fines. Others, like you, consider them pocket change. But the law applies equally to everyone. She lowers her eyes. When you speed through a neighborhood, you're not just breaking a rule, you're putting lives at risk. Children play there. Elderly residents cross those streets. Families live there. Your convenience is not more valuable than their safety. Her silence speaks louder than any of her earlier words. Your behavior today, the judge continues, shows exactly why you keep getting tickets, because you believe rules are optional for people like you. But let me make this clear. This court values character more than bank accounts. And today, Miss Whitmore, you've shown very poor character. Patricia's voice is quiet now. Can I just pay the fine and leave? You can, Caprio replies. But first, you'll apologize to this court. Her head snaps up. What? You heard me, the judge says firmly. Apologize for your disrespect, or I'll add another contempt charge. Patricia stands still, pride battling common sense. The entire room waits. Miss Whitmore, the judge says, I'm waiting. Finally, she exhales. I apologize for my behavior in court today. Caprio's eyes narrow. Say it like you mean it. Patricia hesitates, then softens. Your Honor, I apologize for being disrespectful to you and to this court. My behavior was inappropriate. Judge Caprio nods slowly. Apology accepted. He closes the file. You will pay $850 in fines and costs. You will complete the traffic course within 30 days and submit proof. If you receive another speeding ticket within the next year, I will personally review your case and consider a license suspension. Patricia nods quietly. Yes, Your Honor. Caprio looks at her one last time. And one more thing, the next time you drive through that neighborhood, remember this moment. Remember that your time is not more valuable than someone else's life. Yes, Your Honor, she says softly. You're dismissed. The clerk will process your payment. Patricia walks toward the clerk's desk, her steps slower, her head lower, a different woman than the one who stormed in earlier. As Patricia Whitmore leaves the courtroom, the transformation is undeniable. The woman who entered dripping with arrogance now walks out humbled. Her designer handbag feels lighter, and so does her pride. For the first time, she's learned that respect isn't something money can buy, it's something earned through humility and accountability. Judge Frank Caprio didn't raise his voice, didn't insult, didn't humiliate. He simply stood firm, fair, and unwavering, proving once again that real authority doesn't need to shout to be heard. Patricia's story is a powerful reminder that entitlement always meets its match in a fair courtroom, and that accountability doesn't care how wealthy you are, because in Judge Caprio's courtroom and in life, character matters more than your bank balance. Every day, people from all backgrounds stand before the bench. Some struggle to pay their fines. Others, like Patricia, can write a check without blinking. But in this courtroom, everyone faces the same truth. The law applies equally to all. When we achieve success, the real test isn't how high we climb, it's whether we stay grounded enough to respect others. Do we use success to demand special treatment, or to set an example of integrity? Patricia learned that courtrooms are the great equalizer, where arrogance collapses, humility rises, and justice truly remains blind, not to who you are, but to what you've done. So the next time you think status can shield you from consequences, remember this: wealth might open doors, but it won't open the door out of accountability. And in Judge Frank Caprio's courtroom, respect isn't given to the richest voice, it's earned by the most decent one. This was Patricia Whitmore's story, a lesson that arrogance has a price, and that integrity is the only currency that truly counts. If you believe in fairness, respect, and real justice, hit that like button, subscribe to Judge Stories YT, and stay tuned for more moments where entitled behavior meets its match and justice is served.